There it is, baby.
Oh, I do like that kind of.
Tangerine.
One of my favorites.
Tangerine. Yesterday I saw you kissing tiny flowers. Thought it was going to die. And so I said to you, nothing really matters. And all you do is stand and cry. That's the way. That's the way it's got to be. Mama said, that's the way it's got to be. Oh, there goes the copyright infringement thing. Jeez, I keep screwing it up. It's because I spent too much time in China, you know. What I found was, as I was just starting to pick up the language in this town where nobody spoke English except some of the Chinese professors and shit in the area. And they didn't speak English very well either. But at least we could talk in my progression. And, what did I just say? How did I get to the Chinese? Oh, it was a spark. It was something good. I know it. Oh. It was about the song of language. The sing-song of language, you know. And I had my little booklet out. I'd have my little translation book with me everywhere. You know, Shangyan, Qingdi Wu Shangyan. Please give me cigarettes. Duo Xiao Shangyan. How many cigarettes? Oh, Yibao. 1 pack. And I'm learning this stuff with the tones and reading it in pinyin, which Jimmy Ho didn't even know how to read pinyin. When we were on the buses with the ducks and the criminals, like in Romancing the Stone, you know, blowing around mountains and shit. I said, how do you say that? And he says, I don't know. He didn't learn pinyin. He grew up in Taiwan until a certain age before moving to the U.S. And he didn't know how to read. Pinyin is the Romanized alphabet for the Chinese characters. So he just grew up learning the characters, and then he had to learn the alphabet immediately. You know, he did better than me. I can't read Chinese characters. I'm illiterate. I can't read. I had to stay home on the farm. It was more important than school. And so this one teacher, he says, and I said, Wonang bang ni ma. It was something I'd learned out of the book that day. I'd learned phrases. And he's like, oh, he says, that's very good. He says, but Chinese is like a song. And what? And he says, wo nang bang ni ma. Those are the tones that go. The people, it's hard for us to learn the tones because we've become so flat in our time away. And I realized that if you do listen, especially when they really get going, it's like metal. When these guys are drunk on the radio and talking about the government and you can't even fucking understand the thing they're saying, they're just going. It's a song. And then the pretty stuff is like Joan Baez or something. And everything else is Judas Priest doing a Joan Baez cover called Diamonds and Rust. See, it keeps coming up. But it's a song. That's the way it's got to be, yeah. See, you saw it happen. You saw me get back to how the hell I got onto that. And really all we were doing was we were out in the world one day and we had the kid with us and we were just, he talked about how to detect different police cars.
Yeah.
And he named he had it all together, you know, he worked on it, we corrected it, and the city, county, and state, he talked about how, you know, the county is like whatever color they are, brown, and see, he knew that when he said it, I was like, you're right, but it's been a while since I'd had to worry about that. Here in the studio.
You can go for years without getting
I
arrested.
can go for years without getting arrested. And really, I should be paying attention because it's about the time I stop thinking about it that it happens again. Everything's fine. Let your guard down. Stay alert. Let your guard down for a minute, and there they are. It's all right. It's good to be sober every once in a while. Just to remember why it is you're not. And we talked about, and he said state police is blue, and I realized it's a special color of blue, you know.
It is a special color.
It's its own color.
It's a unique color.
You'd think it would be called state police blue, but I mentioned I think it would be called mustard blue if you wanted to paint your living room in that color. Mustard blue. And that's what got him started talking about colors. And, you know, and I'm sitting there. You go ahead, baby. Tell me the story. Oh, I got it all up in here, but it's behind a few things.
It was a good conversation. You guys started talking about how color works and how different objects absorb colors and then reflect other colors, and that's what makes it that color, and went into a whole conversation.
And, you know, and then we got
between
into color blindness.
Well, we talked about the difference between white and black.
White and black. That's where,
which he already knew all of it.
Yeah, he started spouting shit off.
Yeah,
Have you been reading my notes? And yeah.
And then you talked
how about how the color you see is the color that, oh my good golly, we just had another mind-blowing experience. The color you see is the color that person's body doesn't even want. There it is. That's why racism is so rampant. That motherfucker doesn't even like that color.
Critical race theory right there.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, you're about to be in for another mind-blowing experience. I had 3 of them in that car ride, but one of them was his. I borrowed it, which led me to have my own. So it's 2.5. But yeah, and that's it. We're talking about, you know, just light and how it is we see it. And he's going, and the reason I got started on that was because we were talking about how the ketchup was made green, and that made me think of red and green and color blindness. And we started, and I had a spark. I was like, wow. And so I wanted to tell the story, and I kept almost getting lost because I was getting deep into it. But then we'd share. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and it was really, I've been working on this really hard. I mean, I really, not because a therapist told me, I realized that I've got to let other people talk. And so I'm sitting there, and I had this idea in my mind. I'm like, holy crap, red and green, colorblind. Yeah, how they look the same color. But then you spoke, I don't remember what story you told.
My great grandpa being
Oh, yeah.
colorblind.
Great grandpa was colorblind. So she talked about how a person senses things as colorblind in a direct relation with their spouse. What was it?
Oh, just that would have been her father, my grandma, my great grandpa, and she said she knew the day she knew he was colorblind was he said, do you like my new brown hat or something like that? And she said it was just as green could be.
Do you realize what I just realized? Here's a mind-blowing experience in itself. He said, and when the first time when she told the story there in the car, the idea that he said, do you like my new brown hat? That struck me as odd. Why would you have to say the color? And now, hearing it again, see, sometimes you gotta look back on things. I realize it was because he was saying, fuck you people with all the way you see things. You're gonna see it my way. He was pressing, wanting to make people believe that what he saw as brown was brown to them. He was working the people around him. There was nothing wrong with him. That's how evolution happens. That's how the DNA changes. If somebody like the gray moth and the black white moth and the black moth, if somebody does better, yeah, but whatever. If he's strong enough to fucking make everybody believe that's brown, then he's made a bunch of people. They're not colorblind. They're like Asperger's kids, the vampire bats that are gonna act like Asperger's kids, vampire babies, because they're being raised without emotion and secluded. But they're not going to be as smart as the Asperger's. They will have the same personality. The times they are changing. But yeah, let's not worry about the next generation. The millennials, they've already shown us they're probably not really, they're about as ambitious as I am. It's not an insult. But you got to do your job.
Look at everything you've done. You're very ambitious. You choose your ambitions.
I prefer the word rambunctious. I choose the easy things. And the things that I find easy seem difficult to other people. That's the weird thing. I'm not putting any more work into what I'm doing than it would be hard for them. It's just lazy. Take the good stuff. Enjoy it. And then, yeah, so we were having things about color blindness, and he was talking about different ones, but usually it's red and green. He knows all this stuff. And I just let him go, and I'm sitting there champing at the bit. I just want to finish my story because I got my color. I wanted to bring up this thing where I say, what if somebody, and I was going to talk about this light spectrum and the fusion of light and things like that, and the fucking perspective, because how we get different colors with that. I was getting to the fucking bottom line of what I just realized about color blindness, and I was letting go, and I'm driving, and he's talking, and I was right at the point where I was close to interrupting to go, yeah, but, and he says, oh, he said, what if somebody that was colorblind, they see red and green the same way? Maybe, no, he said two different colors, and mine was, I was sticking with red and green, and I said red and green, and he goes, what if they don't see white the same way? Because white as a color is everything. All the colors together, it's what you get, white. But if you don't see red and green any differently than each other, you have lost part of the spectrum that makes white. How do people with colorblindness see white? Like a dirty old gauze. Like a tampon Jake took out from the fucking septic line and fucking sent an email to everybody that was in our 3-apartment house saying, you people, if we get more tampons clogging the sewer, you know, we're gonna charge all of you. And I'm sitting there thinking, he knows I'm not putting them in there, so what's he doing? He's pitting the girl down in that apartment against the one in that apartment. He's starting a fight. That's very poor managing of a civil environment. So yeah, yellow and blue make green. That's where I was supposed to shut it off. Was that everything?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
I just wanted to talk about how not only did I surprise myself today by coming up with this idea, I've never heard anybody talk about the difference in the color white with, and I'm sure it would have to be a pure white, which is going to be very difficult to get because we manufacture things, we don't get all the color in there.
Well, I just
it
want
would have
remind,
to be sunlight.
I just would want to remind everybody about when they had green ketchup, when Heinz made green ketchup.
And that's what got started.
But yeah, it was exactly the same. It was green.
It looked different, so it tasted different. So there it is. That's it. I've been looking for this. The light, the white looks different, so it feels different. You have a different, yeah, these poor fuckers.
Yeah, that was my original point to him. That's what kind of started everything, was because, you know, the mind, everything with food, there are many senses into eating.
Yeah. The four things,
color
the texture,
and how you perceive it is a big deal. Green ketchup.
And I said if ketchup had been green, I probably would have never tried it. And I love ketchup.
Tomato ketchup, Clark.
And then I said, like, what did I? The blood, why the green and it's the blood of the thing. Or, I don't know.
Christ, I thought you were going. Okay.
It's the blood of the tomato. But I don't know. We had a lot of good jokes in there. You should have been there. Well, we're in it now. That's almost my John Wayne impression. Well, we're in it now. Well, we're in it now. Well, you see, the way I see it in all those John movies, the Wayne movies, the way he had these pauses. I love you, baby.
I love you.
I figure in those later years when he had all those, well, we're in it now. Well, we're in it now. I figured he was probably just drunk. Well, we're in it now.